What's up, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Eagles on the Air. Salesian High School is a school that prepares for life, and we're here in our beautiful broadcast studio right in the main academic building, and I got a great guest for you today. My guest is the parent of a ninth grade student. My guest is none other than Major Jonathan Brooks. Major Brooks, thank you for being on the show today.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You know what? Major Brooks is the dad of ninth grade student Ethan Brooks. And this episode is coming out right before Veterans Day. And when we had the idea to get somebody who's committed his life to service, we said, we got to get that guy that showed up to orientation day in the Army fatigues. I said, that was Major Brooks. I said, I'm on it. We're going to get him. And I'm so happy you answered the call.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
So listen, the podcast, we like to have some fun on here. I like to try to get to know all the guests who are on here. And I started all the same way, kind of like my way of getting to know everyone on a personal level too. I start by asking them the same question. And that simple question is, what is your Salesian story? I know you guys haven't been here too long. Ethan's only in his first or really second month of school. But please, if you don't mind, just tell us so far, like, what's your Salesian story?
About 2 summers ago, we found out about the basketball camp, which my wife found out about it. And I think it was, she got like one of those, random emails that moms usually get. And so so she signed Ethan up. And Ethan ended up, going for I think it was about a 2-week period. And he just had a blast. And he was just like, oh, I just really like Coach Moresi. And then there's this other guy named Coach Shane. And he seems like this, a really interesting guy. And I would love to continue to train with him. And we're like, what do you mean train with him? And Ethan was like, well, I heard that you can, he runs workouts for basketball Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays during the week. And so we signed Ethan up for that. And Ethan ended up going, and we just, that's kind of what pulled us and sucked us into the campus of coming to Salesian. We're like, wow, what a great school. And we just saw basically Salesian brothers that were around campus, got to talk to some of them, and were really impressed. And we would, interview some of the students just walking around, and we just were like, wow, we're getting eye contact. There seems to be a vibrancy to these boys, and like what makes them different. And so that's kind of what we're like, okay, when Ethan was going through his tax exam prep and whatnot, we're like, well, let's really consider Salesian. And so that's kind of what ended up bringing us here. So
that's amazing, because Ethan came from school, if I'm not mistaken, right down the block over here at St. John and Paul.
Correct. Yep, in Larchmont.
And I remember him because way back when, at the time I was still doing the admissions work, and I'm not far removed from admissions, right. But I had the opportunity back then to speak to the kids in their classroom, and I saw him, and what I love about the kids, he wasn't shy. So I'm speaking to the kids, I'm giving my little spiel, talking about Salesian High School, and he came right up to me, and he was like, I trained with Coach Shane. I was like, oh, you're my guy then, let's go. And I don't remember if he was in the 7th or the 8th grade. So, all right, so you met the campus and you met some of the basketball coaches. That's great. Now, did he visit any like open houses or do a shadow day or anything like that?
He did. So last fall, he did his shadow day, and then we also came to like I think a back to school night like last year to check things out. Because you only see things from the outside, but like to then come in to see the facility and we saw the gym, but just kind of being blown away by like, wow, what actually happens on the inside here, and that was really special too.
That's great. I love the fact that you said like the boys make eye contact, because so much of that stuff is learned at home.
Right.
It's our part as teachers and administrators to supplement that and teach the kids. We're an all boys school. It's not
right.
They should learn a firm handshake. They should learn good eye contact when somebody's speaking. And that's so cool that you guys, I never heard that before. I didn't know that before you just said it. But it's something that like we take to heart. Those are just life skills.
Absolutely.
We open up the show by saying that school is a place that prepares our kids for life. That is something right there so subtle, but so meaningful.
100%.
Because trust me, in my 16 years downstairs, I probably interviewed 400 kids, that were looking for a spot at school. And then you ask a student a question, his eyes go down. Or I ask the student a question and mom or dad answers it. And I'm like, no, I want to have the conversation. You're the young man who's going to be interested, who's going to be sitting in the 9th grade seat next year. I want to talk to you. Right. And so something I noticed about Ethan right away, and still today, because like you'll see me in the hall, shake my hand, give me a pound every morning. Good. Awesome kid. So we're pumped to have him, and we're so happy to have you and your wife as a part of our family as well. So great family, and you've made a great impression on us immediately. But anything stick out? Ethan's first couple months. I know we're pretty much through the month of October by now.
Yeah.
Has anything stuck out? How has his experience been? We see sometimes we see some of the too good, like they won't tell us.
Right.
But they'll bring it. So has anything stuck out that Ethan said, or anything that you guys?
100%, yeah. So he's just come home and has just been thrilled about his teachers, how they're really, they're genuine. They're pursuing academic excellence in the classroom, and that's something that he, voiced to us, and we're just like, wow, okay, well, I mean, those are some big words, right? And they have some pretty powerful meaning, but and the way he's been really, I think, absorbed by the community of the students, that's been really, that's definitely stood out. And then, of course, on the parent end, on the grown-up end per se, my wife was involved with the walkathon and just had a really great time of meeting genuine, relatable people here at Salesian, and I just remember her coming on from that event and being, super stoked and excited about, like, wow, this is a place that we could really grow really for the next 4 years, and that's something that we want to be able to do and continue with. So
that's great to hear, and actually it's pretty fun. We had a fun time. I was actually walking like right behind your wife.
Yeah.
During the open house, we got during the walkathon. So we were having a good time. It was a beautiful day outside.
Absolutely.
Really successful event, and kids had a fun time. The parent volunteers were great. The faculty and staff, as usual, were amazing. And you know what? I'm just excited to hear some of the things you're saying, because if you've been watching, if you've been following the podcasts, we've had parents who've come on here. We've had a few, and one of them is the mom of a senior. One of them is a mom of a young alum, and her other son is currently here. So basically, we've got to speak to the parents that have kind of like been through it already.
right.
So I'm excited to hear the other end, like the parent that's just stepping in or just dipping their
100%.
toe into everything we have to offer. Oh, and I love that you said that your wife got the email, because you got to be real. I have two sons. If the school called me one time, and I saw this on like a comedy skit, I think it was like Nate Bargatze or something like. My son's school called me one time, and I was like, I don't know. I said, what happened? How come you're not calling my wife? So I was like, you called the dad and expected like a good answer? I said, I'm not sure. So it's funny because my wife, same thing with the grades, with the the teacher, the Zooms and all that stuff. She's all on it. So I'm like, I'm just the supportive dad. I'm like, just tell me where to be, and tell me who I'm.
Troop transport, just
Yeah,
getting
like
people
tell
from
me
A
who
to
I'm
B.
driving and who I'm coaching.
Yeah, right.
But no matter what, as a parent, I always want to make sure that my kids are in my two boys are in a spot where they're going to grow, whether it's at school or in a sport or in a club after school. What are you hoping to get out of Salesian? Or what are you hoping to see for Ethan over the next 4 years? Pretty much 4 years.
Yeah, I sure hope so. I think over the next 4 years, really, that he can be in a place that will continue to grow and develop his character and confidence as he becomes a leader. Like, that's something that I talk a lot about with my cadets at the City College of New York is what it means to truly be a leader. And I think that the foundation's being built here, and then that's really, and I think that this environment can truly foster that. Salesian, from what I've seen in just a short amount of time, there's a community of excellence and learning, and I think that that's something that Ethan's definitely gravitating towards, and also he's learning how to truly put that into everything that he does in his life. And also not losing sight of the connection to Jesus Christ. Like, that was something that was important for us too, as a Christian family. And so I think that really it's a perfect case scenario of, like I said, excellence in learning and teaching, but also excellence in the community and in service. Like, I see that service component here. And so that's what I'm really excited about for Ethan because that's something that I've done is a degree of service in my life. And I want him to continue that family tradition, not necessarily in the military. If he's got to want to be able to do that, but just being there for others and having that servant attitude and really living, the example of Christ. So
Everything Salesian High School does is very intentional. All right, and I'm going to hit on a couple of points that you just made. First of all is our walkathon the other day. It is a fun day, and knock on wood, the weather was beautiful, and we were able to enjoy a beautiful day outside. But one thing that we did was hammer home the point that, okay, yeah, you're going to get out early and have a fun day and enjoy just being outside with your friends for a few. But also, we did a lot of good for a school in Sri Lanka that one of our current teachers, Father Sasika, 10th grade theology teacher, graduated from. And we're going to be able to put in some HVAC stuff, some fans, some air conditioners into a school that really doesn't have the money for that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We did that in October for a good reason, because we want to introduce that service aspect to the ninth graders right away. We want to show them that, you have a golden opportunity to come to Salesian High School. It's a beautiful place. It's not cheap, okay? And so we're going to we know that there are people out there way less fortunate than our kids.
Right.
And we want our guys to know giving back is a big part of what we're going to do here. And so that's why we start that in October. And I know Ethan is a highly intelligent young man. His grades across the board, when I remember looking at his tax scores, were excellent. So we're going to push him academically, and he's going to continue to feel that push for 4 years. But the other thing you said, too, is he's an athlete. So we got a strong academic student who's looking to give back, who plays sports, who wants to keep Christ in the center of his life. Let me tell you, I think we struck gold with this young man.
No.
I think we struck gold with
Thank
his
you.
family, man. I might be partial. I don't know.
You're too kind. I appreciate that.
But you know what? As a administrator, I can almost promise you that we're going to deliver on everything that you hope for your son. And after 4 years, I hope I'm still hosting this podcast in 4 years.
Yeah.
If they didn't find someone younger and more energetic to do it by then.
Okay.
But I hope to God in 4 years you're going to say, you know what?
Yeah.
This felt like the place for Ethan. It was the place, and everything we hoped for happened. So I'm just stoked that you guys are here. I think it's a great fit.
Thank you.
But Major Brooks, there's a lot more here. There's a lot more. I can tell. So I need to know some personal stuff here.
Sure.
I need to know what your background is. Because, I heard little tidbits, a little something from Ethan. I was talking to your wife for a little bit, heard a little something from her. I want to hear from you. Tell me a little bit about your background, and in particular, your military background.
Yeah, a little bit about me. Yeah, so I graduated from West Point in 2005, and I've had about a 20-year career almost on active duty. And so, as a family, we moved about over 10 times from Europe to all over the United States, from Washington State to Oregon to Colorado to Texas. And so it's really special to be back here in the Northeast, this is kind of where it all started for me back in 2001, right before the towers fell. And so it's we as a family have made the decision this is where we want to be at to get Ethan through 4 solid years of high school, and me not just uprooting hey, you're a sophomore and pack your bags, we're going to Kansas or something like that, So, but by trade, I'm an armor and cavalry officer. So I'm in tank units, and so we've, been all over the Middle East, been to Korea, Uzbekistan, some really interesting places, during my time on active duty. And so again, it's just great to be back here, and also to kind of be back in a teaching environment where I'm no longer with troopers and soldiers, doing gunnery live fires or in the streets of Iraq or anything like that. But I get to actually impart some of the knowledge that I've gained and through the experiences I've had to the students at the City College of New York, CCNY, where I currently teach Army ROTC. So
that is so cool.
Yeah.
So you've been all over the place. Anything stick out to you over all those years?
I think from kind of the standpoint of the most kind of shocking was probably when I was in the surge in Iraq in 2007 to 2008, as far as just kind of seeing the breakdown of society and just kind of having to hold it together. And I think kind of the apex or the top kind of most memorable time was probably being able to be stationed in Europe. That's where my daughter was born. And then I've been back a couple of times without the family, but just being able to see that pace of life in Germany, in Italy, in France, those places, that was really kind of remarkable and something that, like for a lot of the students I have, they come from the 5 boroughs, right? So and that's kind of all they know. And so being able to, say, hey, there's a big world outside. I mean, yes, New York City is kind of its own universe in itself, and it is the capital of the world per se, but, there's a lot going on outside of the NYC metro area, and you got to get ready for that. So
I'm like blown away. I didn't realize that you were like all over like that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So where was Ethan born? So your daughter was born while you were in Europe?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
She was born in Germany, and then Ethan was born in Washington State. When I was at the University of Washington, I was teaching Army ROTC there as well. So
Okay, yeah, because you said your daughter was born, that was around 07, 08.
yeah,
And Ethan being a freshman has to be like a
2010.
2010 birthday.
2010. Yep.
Okay, so you were in Washington State at the time.
Yes.
Doing what? Like just,
So I was teaching at the University of Washington there as well, Army ROTC. So I got, which was pretty cool. So that was right before I was a company commander and pretty fresh from coming back from Iraq. So kind of being able to like impart some of the tactics, techniques, and procedures, the TTPs of like what it's like to be in the Middle East, kind of at the height of the war on terror. So
wow.
pretty intense.
Really, it really is.
Yeah.
This is like the first time I spoke to someone like in depth, like
Sure.
If you ever been to I don't know if you've seen downstairs. If you came into the school building, kind of like
Okay.
right by the student lobby, we have a really nice wall of all the young men who've pretty much young alums. There's some older guys that are in the service right now.
Okay.
All the branches.
Oh, yeah, I don't think I've seen it. Is it kind of near like where the shop is?
Yeah, like
Okay.
around the corner from
Okay.
right
Maybe
around
I'll
the corner
take a
from
look
that.
at it on
Yeah,
the way
yeah.
out,
When we're done over
Okay.
here, we got to take a look at that. It's kind of it's pretty cool. We got to get you a career day. I got to get you to like put that on your schedule.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to.
I don't know if we have the date for that. I think we do. I'm going to find that. I'm going to get that over to you.
Okay, perfect.
Because you know what? It's such an interesting thing. I see kids that are, think about it.
Yeah.
And may have, and if you look at the wall, you say, oh, wow. So a lot of these boys leave high school and join the military. And that's just one other layer of this word prepare that we just try to hammer home. Some kids, or some young men might graduate and go right to college, and some might graduate, join the family business.
Mm-hmm.
Some may graduate, and I mean, I didn't realize you were a West Point grad. It's very impressive. Yeah. I'm impressed the whole way here. I'm like blown away here. I'm kind of tough to get me to be speechless, but I'm getting there. But I think it's another layer that these kids, the more real and the more like realistic it is, like when you're speaking to someone, like it's not somebody that they never met.
Right.
Like it's the parent of one of our kids. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got to get you over there. That'd be very impactful.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So you're teaching over at CCNY. I've been there 1,000 times. Anybody that watches or has ever heard me talk knows that I referee basketball at the high school and college level, and I've worked plenty of games over at CCNY. Anywhere else? You travel anywhere else around the CUNYs?
So let's see. We actually have a partnership with St. John's University, so we're over in Queens there to a degree, and then those are kind of the main hubs between York and CCNY.
Oh, great. I love it. And 2 nice campuses. Mm-hmm. You know what? Because, we leave, and like you said, so many of the kids are from the boroughs. Well, same thing here. A lot of the boys are from the Bronx. So where are you guys stationed up right now? Where does the Brooks family hang their hats?
Yeah, we actually we live in New Rochelle, so we're just not too far down the road, and that was another kind of reason where it made sense for Salesian. So it was like, okay, because at first we're like, do we like being kind of new to the area? We're like, okay, there's Iona Prep, there's Stepanak, and then we really zeroed into here based off of the interactions, which all started from basketball. So
that's great.
Cool,
that's great. Yeah, and I bet it's kind of relieving saying like, wow, we're local. Mm-hmm. We love the athletic program. We love the academic program. We met all these great young men that I can see my son in those shoes.
Right.
That seems like a perfect fit. Mm-hmm. I'm very happy. I'm like happier now than I was a half hour ago before we started.
Glad.
This is great. So again, I meet a ton of parents, and we have our parents here are amazing. They really are. I hear so many of my friends work in schools and all over the place, and not naming any schools in particular, but they talk about these interactions with some of the parents, And I'm like, and they talk about some of the interactions with the kids. I said, damn, I said, you got to spend like a week at Salesian. You know, some parents just like, they'll drop off their kid in the morning and then just like stop in to say hello and then go about the rest of their day. And it's like perfectly cool. Like, you know, it's a great family environment.
Right.
But listen, you know, like I don't want to keep you over here forever. I mean, I'm blown away by this. I think you have a great backstory. You gave us a great product because you gave us really, you know, Ethan is not a lump of clay. He's already being molded into a fine young man. And I'd like to just hammer that point home that we will continue the great work that you and your wife are doing, and continue to mold him into a respectful, well-educated, well-mannered young man. He's going to learn those core values here, and I know that they're going to get reinforced at home. But as a parent of now let's go back to the high school freshman parent. A lot of people that we send this to, their kids are in the middle of trying to decide what high school. At this point, when they see this, they're still trying to decide, like, you know, the tax exam was right around the corner. Like, we're still trying to figure out what schools to even put down, or he put down 3, wasn't sure of the order. There's so much stress with this damn test. So much stress goes on with it. Yeah. How many calls I used to get? Doesn't matter if I put us first, second, third. I said, just put us on the test. I don't care where you put us. Any advice? Do you have like a ninth grade, 8th grader's parent might be watching this or may get this directly emailed from us. Any advice like the 8th grade parents that are saying, I wonder what school or how should I go about, you know, anything that you would do or anything that you and your wife did that you would say, hey, take my advice. Do this.
Yeah, so we definitely just, we tried to breathe through it, you know, because again, it was kind of new for us because our daughter did not go through this process. You know, we prayed. We just said, hey, God, show us, you know, what you want us to do here with the right decision. And then I think really just thinking through what kind of community you want your rising 8th grader, 9th grader to be in. That's really what sold us. That's what sold Salesian for us is wanting our son to grow and mature in this kind of nurturing environment, but also in an environment that prepared him for life. You know, no pun intended, right? Like, where it was very much getting him ready to be a man, to face on, to step into kind of an unknown world per se, right? Because it's like, you know, things are kind of wild out there at the moment, and it's like, you know, we want him to be resilient. We want him also to be empathetic and to be able to hold on to those values so that he could be an effective adult. Well,
I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, and being a part of the Salesian staff for 20 years now, we will fulfill our promise to do everything that you hope will be done for your son in the next 3 years and 10 months. And I hope to God, first of all, I hope to God that you stay in New Rochelle. You said it in the beginning.
Yes.
That this is where you guys are staying. We can't.
Here.
We don't want to find you in the Midwest because I swear I'm going to fly Ethan in back and forth for the week. You can stay in my house. I don't care.
Okay. Yeah. We want those good, you know, Sunday sauce and meatballs. So we'll be hanging around. So
you got it. Good. Well, you know what? You guys are a great family. I look forward to the next. I look forward to the next 3.5 years, having you guys hanging with us, having you guys volunteering with us. Being as much a part of the school as I want you to be a part of the school as much as you feel like we are a part of Ethan's life. So from an administrative standpoint, we're happy to have the Brooks family.
Thank you.
I am so happy that you came on to the show today. I a million thank yous. I think this was great.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to see you. I'm going to see your wife all the time, further down the road. But that's all we got today, Major Brooks. It's been a lot of fun. And for everybody watching, this has been another amazing episode of Eagles on the Air.